Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 6th, 7th and 8th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and I welcome you to today's class where we are going to be solving 10 super important questions from Olympiad exams. Now as you see, these are from your previous years and these are going to be very interesting questions that will definitely help you out. So I hope that all of you are excited for this class, and very quickly students, please do let me know if my audio, my video and my screen is all clear and visible to you. If it is, give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that we are good to go. Good evening. I can see Sachi, Saroj, I can see Akshat, Anugya, Jeetu, Jaya, Anushka. Very good. I can see many of you are here. Many of you are still joining. So welcome all of you. Welcome. So see, today, like I said, we are going to be doing 10 important questions from the previous year Olympiad exams. So we're going to keep it very simple. These are going to be MCQ based questions. We have 10 of them. How about we do it as maybe a poll, right? We can do it as a poll. Now, many of you are wondering, ma'am, is Olympiad exams or this particular class going to be helpful? Now, especially when you look at Science Olympiad, you have National Science Olympiad, which is happening across 3 months, right? Happens in October, November and December. Now, the December dates are very close, so you can still maybe register, but I don't think at this point you can register right now. But I guess you can speak with your school faculty and check with them. Now, secondly, right? If you have already given your Olympiad, then don't worry about it. Today is just going to be a practice. Because see, Olympiad questions are not just for you to write Olympiad exam, but it is also for you to test your knowledge, right? So it's also for you to test your knowledge. And the more you solve tougher questions, the more your exam questions become easy. Right? So everybody, today's class should not be that ma'am अरे मैंने Olympiad दे दिया अभी ये class का क्या फायदा? No, today's फायदा that is going to be there from this class is the confidence that you gain with the chapter, right? So don't forget to share this with all of your friends and make sure that all of you are here. Now I know some of you are already done with it, but these are also for students who are about to give it in December, right? So whoever is giving it on December, these classes will definitely be helpful for all of you. So don't forget to hit the like button on this video. Playtime Bacha for grade 7, I'll be doing it next week, right? Because I had to finish off your syllabus, so I didn't do it this week, but we will do it for next week, right? Okay, next week. Awesome everyone. Now NSO is just one type of Olympiad, but you also have Silver Zone Olympiad, you have NSTSC, which are all different kinds of competitive exams, right? And all this for NSTSC you can still register. So you still have opportunities where in case if you're not giving NSO, doesn't mean that it is the end of it. You can still give other competitive exams as well. So that is why this particular class is going to be super duper important. So don't forget to hit the like button on this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Now I'll not take a lot of time today. I'm just going to probably take half an hour and not more than that, because we have 10 questions. And how about for my live audience? Now I know many of you would be watching it later, but for my live audience, for all of you, how about I run polls so that you can give me the answer in the poll as well. So are you ready for poll, YouTube polls? Now students, if you're watching this video much after the live stream, don't worry. You can skip to the part where I'm asking the question and you can pause and give the answer, right? NSO exam is challenging for sure, right? It is definitely challenging. Ma'am, yes ma'am. Okay. Then will you give me 1 minute of time to set up the polls on my laptop? Will you give me 1 minute? In the meanwhile, as I set up the polls, quickly everybody, let's aim for 100 likes on this video. Jaldi se fatafat go ahead and like the video, and we should quickly go ahead and solve the questions, right? In the meanwhile, as I set it up, yes? Awesome. You all are so amazing. You guys are the best. Let me tell you that. Okay. And please don't mind, I'm still recovering, which means that my voice will sound a little bit cracky. Does not mean that there is an audio problem, it's just my voice, right? Okay. Ma'am, can we have Menti for grade 7? We shall try. Okay. Awesome. So let's get started, everybody. Let me have the poll ready. Okay. Shout out to all kids, all of you. Let's get started, students. Question number 1 on your screens now. The poll is also live. Now you have a match the following question given to you, wherein what do you need to do? You need to tell me which of the following are correct. Now I know that the options look small, so I'll write it on top. A5, B2, C4, D1, E3. This is option A. This is option C, which is A3, B4, C5, D1, E2. Option D here is A2, B3, C5, D4, E1, and B here is A4, B3, C5, D2, E1. I'll move outside the screen. So for students who are saying the video is blurred, please go to settings, go to advanced settings and put 720p so that you will be able to see. Fatafat, give me the vote. I will also vote for the answer. Okay. Hi, are we all done? Very good, students, very good. I can see that many of you are giving me the answer. Yes, Sky, we will do that. We will do revision classes also. Okay, awesome. Are we ready? I can see the votes have come. Now this is simple, right? So, I have ideation slides, but still. Now in this particular case, when you talk about tilling, right, we know that the process of tilling is nothing but loosening of soil. So we see that tilling right here is done with a plow, right? Then what do we have? We have sowing of seeds. How will I sow my seed? I will sow my seed with a seed drill. Then I have irrigation. What is the method of irrigation? It is using sprinkler. Then what do I have? I have weeding. Now trowel is maybe a device, right? Trowel is not maybe a device. Trowel is an agricultural implement that helps you do the process of weeding. Then last but not the least, you have harvesting, which is done with a combine. So as you all know, soil preparation mein traditional tools have plow and hoe. And of course, modern tools include these. Includes cultivator. For sowing, we have funnel sowing and seed drilling. For irrigation, we use sprinkler and drip. Now for removal of weed, we can use a trowel, we can use a khurpi, or chemically we can use substances like 2,4-D. For harvesting, of course, traditional tool is sickle, while a modern tool is combine. So let's see, in this case, I can see that my majority of students have given me the correct answer, because I see that 62% of you have given me the answer as option B, and the correct answer is option B. Very good, students. Very, very good. I'm super proud. Awesome. So now let's quickly have a look at the next question, which is question number 2 on your screens, right? So the poll is live. Now, as you all know, there are statements which are given to you. Now, what do you need to do? You need to select the correct statements. So from 4 statements, can you tell me which is correct? Okay. Jaldi se. Other examples of glycide, 2,4-D we have, then glyphosate, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. That is also an example. Easy peasy question. Khurpi, Soumya, is a tool, right, which is flattened like this, right, and it of course helps in the removal of weeding. Okay. Ma'am, Khushbu ma'am ka session, I'm not sure bacha about that, about Khushbu ma'am session. Okay, don't worry. See, Archana, many others who are feeling that your maybe you're not able to solve some of the questions. No, don't get worried, right? Please don't be worried. You need to solve more and more questions so that it becomes easy. Now what do we have? We see that regeneration, that is, there is a form of sexual reproduction. No, it is not a form of sexual reproduction. So there only one is wrong. Rhizopus reproduces by spore formation. Yes, we know that Rhizopus is bread mold that reproduces through bread formation, spore formation. Then we have something which says oviduct is the organ where zygote will mature and grow till it's ready. Now, where does the development of the embryo take place? Does it happen in the oviduct or does it happen in the uterus? Very quickly, can you tell me? Does it happen in the oviduct or does it happen in the uterus? Yes? Okay, very good. Exactly, right? So in this particular case, the answer, it is in the uterus. So in this particular case, what do we see? This is also false, right? But cloning is a process wherein you make identical copies. Yes, absolutely true. Which is why in this case, we see that only statements 2 and 4 are correct, while everything else is incorrect. So correct answer is option B. And I can see that many of you here got the answer correctly. Saisha is asking me, ma'am, where can I get extra information? Now, firstly, if you want to get extra information for NSO, you can of course download the BYJU'S app. The link is available in the description. If you're looking for books, there are publications like MTG which give really good information. So their workbook or your their prep books that are there are going to be handy, especially for prepping for NSO, right? So you can download those, right? Okay. Awesome, all of you. Awesome. Okay. So shall we move on to question number 3? Now, question number 3 is a very interesting question because 4 statements are given. Now, what you need to do is you need to fill in the blanks, right? After you fill in the blanks, you need to tell me which of the 4 options have the correct answers. Yes? So quickly, everyone, I'll make the poll live. In the meanwhile, you can fill in the options. So I will give you the poll. Okay. It's coming, Anushka, it's coming. Now I know that there could be some limitation in my, if you feel like, ma'am, you're not explaining more than enough. I do have throat issues, so I'm making my explanations as crisp as possible. That's the only reason. So basically, Shalini and many others, cloning that is there, right? Cloning is a process where you make an identical Xerox copy. So in living organisms, how will you make a Xerox copy? You will make a Xerox copy by genetically copying the information. So an organism like in asexual reproduction, where the genetic material is copied entirely, we see that it is called or it is formed, it is nothing but a clone, right? What is poll? Poll is what you see on YouTube, right? On YouTube at the bottom, you will be able to see a white pop-up screen asking you if it is A, B, C or D. That is what is a poll, right? It's okay, Lakshman, if you have already given NSO. This is how you challenge yourself. Now I see very few of you have hit the like button on the video. So fatafat, we need to have more likes. Only 39. Very mean. What is this? 39 likes when I have so many of you live watching. Okay, so let's fill in the blanks, right? Dash chromosome determines the sex of the baby. Now this of course is from the Reaching the Age of Adolescence chapter which Ankita ma'am had discussed with all of you, right? So we know that in our body there's something called as sex chromosomes, right? Now we know that sex chromosomes are those chromosomes which determine the sex of the individual. So in our body, how many what are chromosomes? If this is the cell and this is the nucleus, right? Inside we will find rod-shaped structures, okay? We'll find rod-shaped structures. Now what do we call them? We call these rod-shaped structures as chromosomes. And we see that the genetic material, so basically when I keep saying genetic material, that is basically in these chromosomes or the chromosomes are made up of it, right? Now in the human body, we see that there are 46 chromosomes. Yes, so we have 46 chromosomes. Now 44 chromosomes, the first 44, whether it is me or whether it is, let's say, a male, right? Whether it is a female or a male, that first 44 is the same. But what makes an individual a boy or a girl? That is the last two, right? It is the last two. Because in females, we see that it is something called as a XX chromosome. While in males, it is called as the XY, right? So it is called as XY. Which is why in this case, what do we observe? The Y chromosomes, right? They are the ones that determine the sex of the baby. See, it is not that it is only X, it could be X and Y, but basically it's from the father, right? Now the infundibulum is the part of the oviduct that possesses finger-like projections. Now I told you in the oviduct, right? In the oviduct there were these finger-like projections. What were these finger-like projections called as? They were called as fimbriae, right? Or fimbriae. So in this case, this would be fimbriae. Now some organisms have both male and female sex organs. Now we see it in some worms where in their body they have both male and female sex organs. Now such organisms are actually called as hermaphrodites. So let me just make some space. It's called as hermaphrodites. And last but not the least, the hormone that is produced in the ovaries is nothing but estrogen, right? So this is a hormone which is produced. So now what do we see from all the options, right? Okay, sorry about that. So in this particular case, what do we see? From the four options, right? From the four options, only 1 and 2 was matched correctly. Hence the correct answer is option C. Yes. So correct answer is option C. Okay. Now, students, many of you are telling me, ma'am, we are not sure about bio. We don't know how to study biology. Now, if you're asking me biology for NSO or biology in general, if you're doing biology in NSO, see, it's based on your CBSE syllabus. You just need to learn some extra topics from every chapter, for which I would recommend that you watch maybe, like I said, the books that I recommended. Next, if you want to prep for your CBSE and normal classes, one, you hit that subscribe button and you'll be regular to my class. Now, one thing that I will probably, take responsibility for is that when you come to my class, I will take responsibility for the fact that I will make sure that you understand the concepts well and you fall in love with biology, right? So that is something that I will definitely take responsibility for. And the more and more you become regular in my classes, the more you will be able to study and revise better. So having conceptual understanding is very important. Anushka, I recommend MTG books. They have good questions, they have good sample papers, and they have good concepts also. I have seen that from there, all the concepts have have been converted into questions, right? See, for almost one and a half months, I've actually been not well. I've been diagnosed with laryngitis where my voice box is not keeping okay. That is why I keep falling sick. So I will make sure that I take care of myself. But for now, please don't mind the coughing, right? Please don't mind. I gave you the heads up in the beginning itself. Take care. But I can see many of you got this answer also correctly. So we'll move on. Thank you, students. Thank you so much for your love. I'll get better soon. Okay? We will do sample papers also. Don't worry. Next week we'll be doing sample papers. Moving on, everyone. We have question number 4, where you have to tell me which of the following statement is incorrect about puberty. Now, this has come in the year 2022 for your level 2 exam. This is very simple. So we're talking about what happens during puberty, right? So what is puberty and adolescence? This is a common doubt that many of you have. What is adolescence and what is puberty? See, puberty is basically the time, right? Or I can say it is the point of life, whether it be at 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever it be, but it is the point of life where the body has attained reproductive maturity or it has attained sexual maturity, right? So this is what we mean by, let's say, puberty. But how is this different from adolescence? Adolescence is the entire time period, right? So when the body attains sexual maturity, it will start to undergo a lot of changes, right? Lot of physical, mental and sexual changes. So we see that this time period is what we call as the teenage years or the adolescence phase. So I hope that all of you are clear with this. Now we see that there are different changes that takes place in girls and boys. So in girls, what do you see? In girls, we see that physically their hips, right, the bottom bit of it, the hip region starts to become wider. Now why does it become wide? Because you know that eventually females are the one inside whose body the development of the young one takes place, right? So as a result, their body needs to start making those changes, which is why in women we see that the hip region becomes wider. It is natural, right? Now another physical change that we see is development of voice box. Now in the case of boys, we observe that the larynx becomes bigger and there's a certain cartilage that starts to protrude out, resulting in the formation of an Adam's apple, right? Then in the third one, we see that there is an onset of menstrual cycle. Now during reproduction chapter, we saw that fertilization, right, is something that takes place inside the female's body, right? So we know that fertilization happens here and we know that eventually the embryo that is there will come and implant itself in the uterus. But now the uterus will prepare itself. It's not that it will just come and attach itself to the bare uterus. We see that the inner lining of the uterus, right, will be made thick. It will be thickened with blood and mucus, right? Why? So that it can receive that blastocyst, right? It can receive that structure. Now what happens? This is when, right? This is when fertilization takes place. But what if fertilization does not happen? Does this mean that this uterus will not thicken itself? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, in females, once they attain or they enter into reproductive phase, right? So once they enter into their reproductive phase, what we observe is that every month, right? Every month, we see that one egg is released from one ovary. What do I mean by that? So if in 1 month it was released from this ovary, in the next month one egg will be released from the second. And during this event, every time the egg is released, this uterus will thicken itself, right? So it will thicken itself with the blood and mucus. But what if it will go unfertilized? What will happen? This is no longer needed. So the inner lining will shed, right? Or it will be removed, right? So it will be removed out from the body. So this process of shedding of blood and mucus from the female reproductive tract is what we call as menstruation. And it happens every month, which is why we call this as menstrual cycle. So are you all clear as to what is menstrual cycle? So this is also something we observe in girls, which is why in this case, right, what do we observe? The correct answer here is option D, that it is none of the above. So are you all clear? Okay. Yogesh, don't say mean things in class. Always be nice in my class. Ma'am, any audio books? I am not sure of audiobooks. I'll have to look into it. So if I find audiobooks, I'll let you know. Okay. Next up, many doubts that I missed out on. Yogita, why you want to use Snapchat? You're too young for Snapchat, to be honest. But of late I don't, ma'am, in which way is this related? Not to go, so those are traditional beliefs that are there, right? See, we are here to understand scientifically, but there's a lot of traditional beliefs that are spread across, because of which they state that playtime. Okay? Awesome. Moving on. Let's go on to question number 4. Shots with SPK, I've already explained. You wanted it and I've explained this to you. Okay? Yes. Let's go on. Now, in the meanwhile, I know Lakshita was there who said that, ma'am, I found your classes very... Lakshita, you said that you found the classes helpful on the channel that helped you for your Olympiad. Thank you so much, Lakshita. Don't forget to drop a comment as well so that I can show it to all other teachers as well. Okay? Yes. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. So you have a list of animals given to you, right? Ma'am, is it okay to change this? Changes by plastic. I'm not sure, Jago, what you mean by it, so really sorry. List of animals are given. You need to tell me how many in this list do internal fertilization and how many do external fertilization. Thank you, Inaya. Thank you so much. Just the number. You don't need to give me anything else. You just need to give me the number. This should be easy. Now we know that fertilization is the process of fusion of male and female gamete, right? Now it can happen inside the female body or it can happen outside. Now if it happens inside the female body, it is called as internal fertilization. While outside, that is, there is what we call as external fertilization. Okay. Now I know this right here is a tricky question, no? Because we don't know some of these answers. Like, for example, we've never heard of rohu, toad, or in all these cases, what are they? Very good, Vaidehi. Thank you so much. Don't forget to let me know in the comments. I'll show it to the team as well. Congratulations for getting full marks in science. And don't be regular to class also. All the best, Balwant, for your exam. Ma'am, how can you speak English fluently? It's quite a lot of practice. But some of you keep telling, no, ma'am, you speak such complicated English words sometimes. Neha, no. I did not ignore you. Very good. Ma'am, is it okay to... Oh, got it. Understood. Jago is asking me, ma'am, is it okay to change this by like plastic surgery and all that? See, plastic surgery and everything is something that we don't usually recommend, right? But there are people who do it. Okay. So I can say many of you have given me the answer here, right? So this is what I told you. This is internal fertilization and this is external fertilization. In animals like frogs, toads, fishes, starfishes, we see, right? We see that external fertilization takes place. So here if you see rohu, toad and frog, these are all examples of animals that exhibit external fertilization, right? And 2 is external and we have only 3, which is why in this case we see that the correct answer is option D, which says that 3 animals in this list undergo external fertilization and 2 undergo internal. Okay. See, in the case of plastic surgery, right? Plastic surgery firstly does not use plastic, okay? The intent of the term plastic surgery is also not something that we use commonly now. It's also called as cosmetology. There are various branches, but mainly in some cases, if people have, let's say, some deformity, or maybe to correct a certain structure, we use this technique, right? It's not always to change it. It could also be to correct something that could cause harm, hamper. For some people, if you see, like in my brother's case, right? Not in my brother's case, in my friend's case, they had to do a small surgery in the nose because the nasal septum that was there, no, this nose, it had a slight deformity which was making it difficult to breathe. So not always that the term plastic surgery means you have to correct your face or, you know, look different. No, it could also be the understanding that it is to maybe tackle something where you change features, right? So that is what we need to understand by this. Okay, no problem, Amrit, no problem. Yes, Sachi, please tell me. Okay, many of you voted for B, but I can see that many of you went wrong here and there. So it's okay. This is how we learn. Ma'am, how can fertilization be external? So basically, they release their eggs and sperms into water. So if you notice, all of them are aquatic, right? So they release their eggs and sperms into water, and externally, those eggs and sperms will be released close by to each other. So externally, they will fertilize, right? Mucus is a slimy substance. So quick reminder, everybody, for tomorrow's BYJU'S Science Studio, which is on fireworks and science, or where science meets fireworks, which is of course going to be hosted by Saurabh sir and Ashwin sir. It is going to happen at 7 p.m. tomorrow. This is something that you should not miss, right? This is a class that is there for you. It's a Friday. Relax and enjoy the class, right? Okay. Ma'am, do all aquatic animals undergo external fertilization? All aquatic animals that come under the category of fishes and like frogs and everybody, they undergo external fertilization. But in some cases, there are some aquatic animals that may not, right? Ma'am, in question 2, you told Y but not X. See, normally what happens is that X chromosome is something that is uniform. It could be X, it could be Y also. That's why I said it could be both X and Y. But X chromosome, but mainly the question should have been phrased as which parent determines the sex, right? Now Y chromosome is present, you can look at it this way. If Y chromosome is present, that means it's a male. If it is absent, then you know which chromosome it will be, right? It will be the X, which is why it will be female. So that is one way in which you can understand that. Okay? Lakshman, come back and watch. Come back and watch. Any microbes that do sexual reproduction? So in some cases, right, we see that there is, in your higher grades you learn about it, there's a process of conjugation that we see in bacteria, which is kind of like sexual reproduction, but not exactly like sexual reproduction. But there we see that there is exchange of some material that happens there. Okay. Awesome, all of you. Awesome. Not 21st November, 24th November. My bad. Okay. Let's move on. Question number 6 on your screen, right? Question number 6. Yes, Yash, all frogs undergo external fertilization. Ma'am, which one is internal and which one is external? Frog, fish, starfish. So in that rohu, rohu, toad and frog are external fertilization. Everything else is internal. You have 4 statements given to you. You have to identify which is incorrect regarding manure. You have 5 statements. Identify which is incorrect and then give me the answer here. Yes? Vedant, I gave you the answer. Asta, parthenogenesis is basically a process wherein sometimes when the gametes are there, no, without fertilization, like in lower organisms, what will happen is the gamete in itself will develop the ability to give rise to a young one, and that will more or less be a clone or something like that. So that is what we mean by that. Spermatogenesis is the formation of sperms, right? This is simple. Here in this case, would that be sexual? No. Then it will be asexual, parthenogenesis, right? Moving on. Manure enhances Manure enhances water holding capacity. Yes, it does. Is it nutrient specific? No. It decreases number of friendly microbes? Absolutely not. They improve it. Improve soil texture? Yes, they do. Manure is prepared by decomposition of dead plants and dead animal waste? Yes, of course. So correct answer is option D. And I can see that 50% of you got it right. Students, see, it is incorrect regarding manure. So you have to identify the incorrect statements. So the correct answer is option D. Now we'll move on to question number 7. Last 3 questions. Last 4, I mean. Question number 7, everybody. Which among the following methods can help us improve the quality and quantity of food production? We have 4 options from which you need to give me the correct answer. So very quickly, students, give me the answer. I will give you the poll on the screen. Awesome. So let's have a look. Very good, all of you. Very good. I can see that many of you have given me the answer and it is on option C. Now, if you see, right, we know that one way is that to improve quantity and quality. Increasing the price of all of this is not going to help us, right? But applying modern technology and carrying out research and development will definitely help us. Neither is encouraging deforestation going to be helpful because this can have a negative impact on the environment, which is why the correct answer is option C. Anushka, I read about that. They have the ability to do asexual reproduction also, like fragmentation method, where parts of their body they can, like a bit of it will be fragmented and they can develop into it. Or in some cases they can reproduce sexually also, but it depends from species to species, right? Okay. Awesome, Pawan. Thank you so much. Okay. Indirect development is what you see in frogs. Frogs do not directly become proper adults, right? Or rather we see that they undergo some rapid transformation. So first they become larva and only then they develop into tadpole and then adult. So hence that what you call as indirect development. Okay, question number 8. This is a very simple question now. Question number 1 minute. Question number 8 is, if you were to grow lactobacillus artificially, how will or what would be the shape of it, right? Or how would it look like? Is it A, B, C or D? Very, very easy questions, right? Easy. Mosmi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. All chapters are coming. All of it. Best books for NSO, I recommend MTG publication. You have their test prep books, workbooks, practice books, but I would recommend the workbook. I think I have the workbook. There's one more book, I'll put it in the comments of this video, where you have your information also, like for example, the theory part of it. So those are the workbooks, I think. I'm not able to remember right now what the title is called. What should we study for becoming biologist? Up until your 12th standard, continue having biology stream, right? Once you reach 12th, if you decide to be a doctor, you can write competitive exams. If not, you can do pure science. See, you can do pharma, you can do pure science, you can do environmental studies, whatever you love, right? You can take that up. But till 12th, you will have to study. Okay. Goodbye animation. Is that the way to talk to a teacher? You can ask me what I'm doing. I'm teaching you Olympiad questions. Okay. Ma'am, yes, that is also one more way, right, Inaya? Very good. See, FSH is follicle stimulating hormone, which means it contributes to the development of the follicle. It basically contributes for the development of the egg, right? So it plays a very important role for that. Yeah, exactly. How to clear JEE, which means that your joint entrance exam, if you wish to be an engineer, your mathematics needs to be really strong along with your physics, right? These two are your really tricky papers in JEE. So make sure that your foundations in these two subjects are crystal clear right from, let's say, 8th, 9th grade. And then start aggressive preparation from 11th standard. Okay. Yes, Vivekanand, I will do that. So time's up. Many of you have got the answer. It is option C, right? So you know lactobacillus that is there is basically an organism. It's a bacteria which is rod shaped, right? So it is a rod shaped bacteria, and we see that this right here is something that we find in curd and plays a very important role in curd formation. So this is super duper important. Awesome. Ma'am, is your maths good? It is. But I make silly mistakes in math. That I do. Let's move on to the second last question. Mamta, I could not understand. So basically you had to tell me what was the shape of lactobacillus. And we know that this is rod shaped, right? So that is all the question was about, Mamta. This is spiral shaped, right? And we know that lactobacillus is not spiral. Then we know that this is coccus shaped, which is spherical. And we know that this is comma shaped, which is also called as vibrio. Yes, but in this case, bacillus, the term bacillus means rod shaped. So correct answer is this. What is fetus? Fetus is a phase during the developmental structure of a, let's say, a human being, where you can clearly differentiate the limbs, right? The arms and legs. Awesome. You have matched the following questions. So I'll start the poll where you have curd, wine, antibiotic, nitrogen fixation. Column 2 mein you have all this. You just have to match, right? So let me quickly okay. Main work of hypothalamus is to regulate the functioning of other hormones in the body. Now many of you are asking me about, ma'am, what is the other branches of biology that I'd like to take up. See, I will tell you a little bit from right now, because again I'll tell you from personal experience. I have friends who have specialized in the field of microbiology. I have had friends who studied with me and they worked on the COVID vaccine, right? So there are some of my friends who worked on the vaccine and they worked on versions of it where they are still waiting for a lot of publications to happen. So when you look at it, there are fields of immunology, there are fields of genetic engineering, there are fields of biotechnology in general, food technology, right? That's also something which is very up and coming. So there's a lot of potential that is there. Global health is also one such field where some of my friends have worked. So in big pharma companies, there are some of my friends who work there. So I will tell you from my personal experience, right? I'm not going to give you some essay, something that you find on the website. So along with me, some of my friends who studied are all on these different fields. So you can definitely explore all these ideas, right? Awesome. I can see that many of you have given me the answer. Now when you know curd right here is formed with the help of lactobacillus. Wine is made, right? Commercial production of wine is made with the help of yeast. We have antibiotic. What are antibiotics? Chemical substances which are obtained from living organisms, right? So that is obtained from penicillin. And we have nostoc. What is nostoc? Nostoc is a kind of microorganism, specifically a kind of bacteria that have the ability to do nitrogen fixation. So correct answer is option C. Very good. Ma'am, please focus. I have a doubt. Ma'am, please explain nitrogen fixation. Okay, Reja, you asked me your doubt, but in the meanwhile, what is nitrogen fixation? We know that nitrogen is normally present as atmospheric nitrogen or gaseous nitrogen, right? Now, plants cannot utilize this it in its gas form. So what do they need to do? They need some form which can be usable, like nitrates and nitrites, which is why in this case, what do you see? We see that the process of conversion of gaseous nitrogen into usable form is called as nitrogen fixation, and it happens through a whole cycle, right? Okay. Astha fetus, I have already explained what is incubation period. Incubation period is basically, I think incubation period has two meanings. One, if you mean gestation period, that is the time that is taken within the body for the development of the young one. Incubation period is with respect to diseases, right? How long does it take for the symptoms of a disease to come? So that is what we mean by incubation. Yes? Okay. Yes, Reja, if you keep telling I have doubt, but if you don't ask me your doubt, then what would happen? Yes, it is. It is Shreyasi, it is a microorganism. Please ask me your doubt soon. Ma'am, I thought it's rhizobium. It's not just rhizobium. It is various other there are various other organisms also, right? Parathyroid gland that is there is basically another gland which regulates the calcium levels. Okay, moving on to the 10th question, where you need to select the correct match, right? Oh, okay. No. Jago at this point, no. What is endocrine system? Endocrine system is a system made up of all endocrine organs. I said, see, when you talk about, let's say, wine or consumption of wine, consumption of alcoholic beverages, normally it is not advised, right? And we always think why people say it is bad, why it is bad. Now the reason being is that it tends to have a negative impact on a lot of our bodily functions, right? So it tends to have a lot of impact on bodily functions, and along with that it takes a toll on the liver as well. So because when the liver has to process all of this, it takes a toll on the liver, which is why in general alcoholic beverages are not recommended, because it is not good for health, and continuous consumption is also definitely not good for health, right? Awesome. So with this, the correct answer is option D, right? Everything else is incorrectly matched, while the correct answer is option D, Norek Biosphere Reserve in Meghalaya. Okay. Awesome, everyone. Awesome. What is rhizobium? Rhizobium is basically a microorganism that has the ability to convert your atmospheric nitrogen into usable forms. Yes? Okay. So quickly to take some of the questions that you are asking me right now. So I'll take a quick doubt board. Ma'am, which organ produces gamete? Gametes in females are produced in the ovary. In males, it's produced in the testes. Awesome. Ma'am, do you know? Ma'am, you know there are many national parks and many biosphere reserves. How do we learn? You know how I learn? I actually go and I see which state. So I have this very like a tourist, like if I were to go visit and go on a vacation. For example, let's say Jim Corbett. I know that, I wanted to go and visit there when earlier when I was planning, should I go to Himachal or Uttarakhand? I'm like, this is a place. So normally like when tourists, I learn these examples. It's a very stupid method probably, or maybe if it helps you, you can try that. Now if I were to visit, let's say Meghalaya, I want to visit this biosphere reserve. So that's how I go about it. Ma'am, what are the process of sexual reproduction as it is mentioned in NSO book? Mamta, that is one whole session that I have done. So what is the process of sexual reproduction where two parents are involved? So that is something that you will have to check, right? Please read through the bit of it. Hormones produced by male. See, most hormones are common that we produce in males and females, but testosterone is one characteristic hormone that is produced primarily in large amounts in males, right? Causative agent of AIDS is HIV vaccine. Vaccine it seems, HIV virus. Everybody, fatafat, before we wind up the session, I hope you hit the like button on this video. Most importantly, I hope you enjoyed today's class, right? Now, if you did enjoy today's class, do not forget to let me know in the comments of this video. We are coming up with more and more interesting sessions, so stay tuned. I will see you all soon. But up until then, students, take care, all of you. Lots of love, and up until then, take care and bye-bye.